Michael Wommack is one of the artists who's in from out of town, in from the Philadelphia area. Not your first time to the St. Louis Art Fair, though.
No, this is my 6th year being at the fair.
Which I gather you take a little pride in.
Well, it's a very competitive show. It's very difficult to get into. The jury process starts early in the year, and they have something like 1,100 to 1,400 applications for 200 spots. So it's very competitive.
And not only are you in it for that many years in a row, but you're the Nancy Newman Rice Award winner from last year.
Yes, which let me get in this year without applying, so that was nice. That was a thrill to get that award.
So you can give us a perspective because you travel the country. I guess first, is something going on with art fairs around the country?
Well, I think art fairs are becoming more popular because people really like to meet the artists firsthand and not go through a secondary intermediary, kind of like a gallery owner. And people are really starting to enjoy that whole process of going to these fairs. And the artwork is getting much higher caliber, of course I would say that, but at these fairs. So collectors are starting to come out and collect one or two or possibly a dozen artists. And it's becoming more of a acceptable trend.
Is it more accessible to the patrons?
It is. It's definitely better for the patrons to walk around at their own pace and choose the artists they want to talk to. Yeah, for sure.
What's it do for the artists?
Well, it's really a good way for us to make a living as an artist. When I graduated from art school, really the only avenue to make a living was to teach college mostly, but also to teach grade school, public school. But those jobs are kind of few and far between, and I myself didn't want to get into that and have it become the main thing that I did, because it really saps your energy. At the end of the day, you're not
in a mood to create.
Exactly, and then you panic in the summertime. It's just it's difficult to do.
Yeah.
I have friends that do it.
So this is providing new opportunities, perhaps, for professional artists.
Oh yeah, it really is. And the top shows, like I call them the A-list shows, but the top shows really provide a clientele that is willing to put down some serious money for artwork, and they know the good shows from the sort of not so great shows. This particular show has an amazing reputation.
Do you consider it top? I'm putting you on the spot. You're sitting in St. Louis. What are you going to say?
No,
but
it's the top 10. I mean, I was put in the top 5 in the country.
And why? What separates it?
I think it's the way it's run. I mean, basically, the staff and the director, Cindy, they really made it their mission to have a show that really accentuates the art more than other things. I mean, there is other things to do. There's face painting, there's music, there's other events and activities people can do. But she really makes it about the artists, and she's been building it up for, I mean, I don't know what anniversary we are in here, but she's been doing it for many years. And they draw the top artists across the country. They're from all over the place here. And there's a lot of local artists here too that are excellent as well. But you walk around and it's really a top drawer group of people for sure.
Have you noticed art fairs and the what they're bringing to artists and to patrons? Have you noticed it doing things to even communities that are kind of building around in towns that didn't have much of an art scene before?
Well, certain fairs do that for the community. There's, this one is one of them, and Fort Worth is another, Des Moines is another, where the community really gets behind the show. I do other shows like the one in Philadelphia where not so much. The community is sort of like surprised when we are there, but they're not behind it like this show for sure.
It has a little bit of that. The museum may be open 200 and something days a year, but this it's an event. It has a set time, and it's a community event, and people kind of want to show up. Is that accurate?
Well, people travel to come here too. I mean, I have collectors that come from Omaha, Nebraska, and Kansas City, and even Denver, and they come to the show because it's an event.
Tell me what it's like to interact with people the way you do here that you might not get to if you were in a gallery.
Oh, it's night and day. It really is night and day. You know, when I'm at my booth and people are responding to my work, and then I'm talking to them and sort of enlightening them about what I'm trying to accomplish. It's a far cry from a third person sort of coming up with what I'm trying to say when I can say it probably the best myself. So it is night and day.
And it may be more personal when you're able to do it yourself versus the kind of the broker aspect of it.
Well, and a lot of people come here because they want to talk to the artists. Now, there are a lot of people that don't want to talk to the artists at all, and that's fine. Usually I'm pretty good at telling who's who.
And maybe is that because they're just kind of dipping their toe into this world in the first place?
A lot of people like to make up their own mind on the work without talking to anyone, and I respect that, and I actually admire that. And because I've sold some of my biggest pieces to people I haven't said a word to, and it's always a surprise. It's always sort of takes me aback, but these are people that are making their own decisions. And a lot of times I joke, I say, "You don't want me to tell you about it?" And they say, "No, I don't want you to ruin it for us." So, it's sort of 50-50, But a lot of people come here because they want to talk to the artists.
What do you look forward to when you come to St. Louis and the St. Louis Art Fair?
Well, I look forward to the muggy weather.
We're hoping we're going to try to cool it off for you throughout the rest of the weekend.
I love the food in St. Louis, and the just the ambience of the neighborhood. It's really great. I mean, I pretty much park my vehicle for the entire weekend and just walk everywhere. So I really love the neighborhood.
And then the art fair, I don't know if circuit is the right word, but that's full time for you. You don't have to go out and supplement with other galleries or other things.
It tends to be seasonal. It tends to be the fall. This is the fall season. There's a spring season and a summer season. Not a lot happens in the winter, so I'm in my studio all winter long, really getting as much work done as possible.
Can you tell me a little bit about your work? I do want to talk to the artist.
Sure.
I do want the story. So have you always been in the pastels and drawing?
No, my series is now in its 8th year, and it was triggered by a dream that I had about being back in my old neighborhood, which was Levittown near Philadelphia. It's one of the original post-war developments. He was to housing what Henry Ford was to cars. He sort of developed this mass-produced housing thing. And so the visual effect is sort of bizarre, especially to a 6-year-old in 1962. So it really stuck in my mind.
When suburbs were new to us.
They were very new. And everything was so just similar. But I had this dream about being back in my old neighborhood, swimming in pools, connected at night. And the color was so vivid in the dream. So when I woke up, I said, I have no idea what that means, but I have to get it down on paper. And I hadn't used my pastels since college, essentially, but they had all the right colors. So I pulled them out, turned out to be the perfect medium. It's like drawing with pure powder pigment. All the images are from my memory and from my imagination. So on one hand, it's personal, it's part of my experience and my dream, but basically I'm drawing about the way we live in this country, in suburbia, because at one point or another, just about everyone has lived in the suburbs at one time or another. And I like to think that I'm making beautiful drawings of something that we consider ugly.
Do you like the suburbs?
Well, I'm still there, so I think I'm celebrating the suburbs. A lot of people look at my work and think, I'm making some really dark statement, and that's fine. I like to keep the work ambiguous and open to interpretation. So, if they want to bring that dark sort of sociological statement to it, that's fine. That's fine with me. I like, abstract art is open to the viewer, and I like my work to be open to the viewer, open to their own interpretation.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us and your time with us here, and thanks for coming back to St. Louis.
I love it here.
We hope you have a great weekend. Michael Wommack, the 2015 Nancy Newman Rice Award winner here for the St. Louis Art Fair. Thank you very much.